Hello, my friends. It's Phil Grant with Baird and Warner, welcoming you to another edition of the Real Estate Minute. This is, of course, where we talk about all things real estate, buying, selling, leasing, commercial and residential, really in the hopes of helping you to make a better, more informed decision when real estate matters come up in your world. As always, we hope that this beautifully warm June day finds you and your loved ones safe and healthy and well. If you were with us last week, we referred to an article that I had read from the commercial website SREXI, and it was titled 10 Tips to Sell Commercial Real Estate. In 2021, over $91 billion was spent in the U.S. constructing commercial real estate structures. And this is obviously a good sign because it tells us that that market is healthy. It can be a little bit of a downside for those who have commercial real estate properties that they are looking to sell. So again, what we did last week was we looked at the first 5 reasons, and we'll recap those very briefly today. And then secondly, we'll go ahead and finish off the last 5. So again, what we talked about last week was we talked about determining market value and how important that is. You don't want to leave money on the table, but at the same point in time, you don't want to price yourself out of the market. Again, keep in mind that in the commercial world, there are a number of different segments. You have office space, you have retail space, you have commercial land, you have industrial, you have multifamily units. So there are a number of segments of commercial that reside under that umbrella of indeed commercial real estate. So again, first thing we talked about was pricing it on the money. Second thing we talked about was getting your title report. And again, as we said last week, a lot of this process is going to be handled by other people. This happens to be one which will probably be handled by your attorney when that time comes. We talked about updating your environmental reports. Again, depending upon the type of business you have, you may or may not have to be concerned with environmental reports. You have a report called a Phase 1, you have a report called a Phase 2, and again, we can talk about this further. But again, you may, if you need environmental reports and yours are older than 6 months, you probably will have to get a new Phase 1 or Phase 2, quite possibly. Number 4, getting all of your paperwork ready. Have all your ducks in a row. If, for example, you have investment real estate where you have tenants involved, something known as an estoppel certificate is probably going to be required from your tenants. Rent rolls. Again, if it's a income producing property, rent rolls are going to come into play. So again, have all your paperwork ready to go and be organized there. Fifthly, we talk about creating a service vendor history list. So who has come to check your HVAC systems? What kind of shape are they in? What condition is the roof in? What condition is the overall building in? And if you can have those reports ready for your new buyer, that will indeed be a feather in your cap. So we'll go on to the last 5 today, and what they talk about as item number 6 is do a thorough cleanout. This is important, not only in the residential. Imagine living in your house where you are. If you're going to put that on the market, what you would have to clean up. Same thing with commercial. Again, depending upon the type of business you have, some places can be neater and cleaner than others, but it is very important. We have to keep in mind that you really only have one chance to make a good first impression. And so when those potential buyers come through, it is important that the closets are cleaned out, and if you've got shop space, that it's as clean as possible. Office space is as clean as possible. Again, we've only got that one chance, so let's do a thorough clean out. Number 7, list your property on commercial websites. With me as your realtor and with most good commercial realtors, that's something that we will handle for you. There are a number of very, very good sites out there that I use, and it provides excellent exposure for my clients' property. So again, commercial website, very important. Number 8, they say to use social media to your advantage. And again, this is something that I personally do. I get my client's property out on social media, be it Facebook, be it LinkedIn, be it Google, whatever the case may be, so that we can get maximum exposure. Again, we want to cast as wide of a web as possible when we put that property on the market. Number 9, have a cash price in mind. So again, we want to make sure that we price that building where it should be. Again, not too high, not too low, but in the back of our minds, if we had a very strong buyer come in with cash, we want to have that number kind of in the back of our mind, that if we don't have to mess around with financing, where exactly can we be comfortable going? And then finally, number 10, choose an experienced commercial realtor. And again, there are a bunch of very, very good realtors out there, no question about it. But again, I would strongly urge you to choose someone who has a broad width of knowledge in the commercial industry. Some commercial brokers will focus only on one or two. Some, like myself, will indeed work a number of different segments. So again, that's a very, very good tip, is to find a good commercial realtor that you're comfortable with. I would be happy to talk to you, obviously, about that as well. So again, keep in mind, you need, as the seller of the property, you need to think like the buyer. What is a typical buyer of your commercial property going to look for when they visit and they tour the property? We want to make sure that that property looks good. Again, we got to have that commercial piece of property standing as tall as it possibly can. And then finally, keep in mind to be organized. Have your ducks in a row, have your paperwork ready, have your vendor list ready. That's going to make the process a whole bunch easier for you. And again, just going back briefly for a moment, if indeed your property is an income producing property, very, very important that you have your expenses, all of your expenses, and all of your income available for your realtor. They are then going to be able to generate what is known as a cap rate, and that cap rate will go a very, very long way to determining the price that that parcel should be put out at. So again, 10 quick tips for selling commercial. If you have questions, if you're in the Chicagoland area, reach out to the Real Estate Problem Solver right here at 773-814-5369. Be happy to come over and talk to you. Take care of yourself. Thanks very much for taking a minute to watch. I hope it was informative. Again, we'll talk to you soon. Take care.